Good morning. Ooh, good morning. It's my radio voice. It's my radio voice. This mic is no joke. All right. So forgiveness, yeah. Right there. They say forgive and forget, right? Well, once upon a time, there was a couple, husband and wife, and the husband did something pretty stupid, and of course, the wife chewed him out for it. She got after him pretty bad. Eventually, he apologized, and they made up. But every once in a while, the wife would bring it up, and she would always kind of reminded him of what he did. And he was like, one day he was like, honey, why do you keep bringing this up? I thought your policy was forgive and forget. She said, well, it is forgive and forget. I just don't want you to forget that I forgive and forget. So that's why she keeps bringing it up. So forgiveness is something that, it kind of gets thrown around a lot in conversations, but it's kind of like on the surface. And forgiveness, it's easy to talk about. We can talk about it all day long. We're going to talk about it today. You could say a mantra: I forgive, I forgive, I forgive. You can do the Hawaiian one, Opono, ono, something or other. How is it? Oponopono. I forgive you, I'm sorry, I love you. Something, I forgive you, I love you, I'm sorry, something like that. So we can do all those things. But unless we do the deeper work of forgiveness, it's really not going to get you that far. Now, we all know that life is full of challenges, ups and downs, disappointments, things happen. And sometimes it's not easy to say, I forgive you and mean it, but it depends on what kind of hardship did you go through? What kind of, how hurt were you? It also depends on your definition and your understanding of what forgiveness is to you. So let's dive right in. Can you guys tell me what forgiveness is to you? What is forgiveness? Forgiveness. Peace of mind, washing away of something, cleaning the slate, starting over. Return to wholeness. Sounds like a movie. Return to wholeness in a world where the. What else? What else? Forgiveness. What does it mean to you? Release of blame to have personal healing. I like it. Anybody else? Going once, going twice, gone. So if you Google forgiveness, you may run into this definition. It says, forgiveness is the process of concluding resentment, indignation, or anger as a result of a perceived offense, difference, mistake, and the cessation or demanding restitution or punishment. You no longer need that. And there's one key point there that I want you to notice: perceived offense. We're going to talk about that. Now, most of us think that we have the ability to forgive someone who has wronged us. And I'm sorry to disappoint you, but we can't. Because we can never make amends for the actions of other people. We can only make amends for our own actions. So if someone has wronged you, forgiveness is between them and whatever or whoever they call God, whatever that is to them. Now, if someone has wronged you, right, all you're doing is like you're carrying their burden or that burden of the experience. Because the truth is, they did something to you, right, and you feel wrong. Well, that's their burden to carry. So when they ask for forgiveness for their actions, that's for them, not for you. But we somehow have taken it upon ourselves to carry that burden for however long you've been doing it. However long you've been doing it. Now, all you're doing is, again, carrying that burden for how long, and but what? For what reason? What would be a reason to carry such a heavy burden? Because carrying around that pain of the experience or the person that harmed you is heavy. So what would be a reason, if you can think of one, to carry such a heavy burden for so long? A good reason. or any reason, because again, it's perception. So, like, what would be a reason to carry that burden? Ego? What do you mean by that? So your ego is giving value or your value to that situation. You get to be a victim and attention. You're calling attention. What else? Attachment to identity. Anybody else? Pride. Could we say there's some fear there? Maybe. And we're going to come back to that. Now, that burden is weighing you down because, again, it's heavy. So it's weighing you down and it's holding you back. But how could it not? Because you're living in the past. It's like that quote that they're talking about driving down the road, looking in the rearview mirror. You know, you're going to crash. You could potentially do so much. You're looking backwards. So how could it not hold you back when you're living in the past? And it consumes an enormous amount of energy to hold on to that, okay? Energy that if it was released, if you let it go, you could redirect it and you can make room to manifest a life that you truly desire. Because you're spending so much energy on this one act, okay? So let's say I was wronged by someone. So someone give me a scenario where you felt wronged by someone. What was the situation? Any example? Cut you off in traffic. Now, what might be my reaction to someone cutting me off in traffic? Like curse them out, right? What else could I do? You curse them out and you start making all kinds of judgments, right? Did you get angry? Just a little bit. What else could I do? What else in that situation? How far can we take that? You go cut them off, slam on the brakes. Does anybody like drive, speed up to them, and just give them the look? You know, you know what I mean? Yeah. Oh, exactly. I'm gonna let you know. Road rage up in here. Don't pay attention to what I do. Do what I say. So yeah. But what I've done at that point in that little story right there is I've made it all about me. I'm only looking at my side of the story, okay? And it's my perspective, and it naturally, it happened to me, right? So we said we get angry, right? And don't get me wrong, anger is not necessarily a bad thing. Allowing yourself to feel the anger, it's like a healthy part of the healing process. But it's got to move through and out of you, not stay in you. Because if it stays in you, we're going to end up resentful. We're going to go into resisting that person or the situation. We're going to end up in getting revengeful. And revenge is very subtle because it'll be like you said, they're going to know. Like, I'm going to show you. So now I'm just not going to talk to you. You know? So revenge is very subtle. A lot of people think revenge is like this elaborate plan that we're going to get back to that person. We're going to get even with them. And it could be. Like slashing some tires or scratching the door, you know. It could be an elaborate plan, but it doesn't have to be. So being subtle sometimes is like, well, I'm not going to be in your presence, you know. So that could be revenge. Once we're there, we're stuck. We're stuck and we're not able to get out of that cycle, and we're not manifesting a life that we want. A life of fulfillment, a life of meaning and purpose, right? I mean, that's what we want. Now, I'm going to say a couple of quotes, and I'm sure we've heard them before. We've all heard, if God is for you, what could be against you? Yes? We've heard that. Have we heard this one? Life will only give you whatever experience is most helpful for the evolution of your consciousness. We've heard that one? No? Some of you have? Similar? Okay. Now, that experience, right, and the car thing is simple, but there's some really deep ones, right? We could say, like, someone left you, or your wife left you, your girlfriend left you, your boyfriend left you, or something happened like that. How do you know that that experience is the one that you need for the evolution of your consciousness? And the answer is really simple, because it's the experience you're having at that moment. It's happening, exactly, because it happened, right? If it's happening, it's the experience you need. Now, if I apply those couple of concepts of if nothing's against me, everything is for me, and when I mean that, I mean for my highest self, for my highest good. If there's really no good or bad, because we've talked about that before, good or bad is just your perception, is how you choose to see it. There's just experiences. Experiences that are helping me connect or become aware of the truth of who I am. Okay? So they're actually helping me. If those things are true, then was I really wronged? If those things are true, is there really anything to forgive then? And just think about that. If everything's for you, nothing's against you, and if there's no good or bad, there's just experiences that are helping you along your journey to get to know yourself better, to get to your higher self, to release your potential, limitless potential at that, then were you wrong then? Is there anything to forgive from the traditional sense of forgiveness, saying like, I forgive you? No. From my perspective and from my experience, I would actually feel gratitude for not only the person, but for also the experience, because he's helping me along my journey. Now, again, why do we hold on to the burden then? We said a couple of things, and I touched on fear. And let's make it really personal, because a lot of us has been in relationships. That's some of the things that are really, really important to us. Romantic relationships, being with someone, sharing a life together. But again, we're individuals and things happen, and everyone has their reasons for doing what they do. So let's say, again, someone did something wrong to you, someone that you likely love or someone that you like, right? I would say there's a little bit of fear there, because the wrong that they quote unquote did, that's all we have left of that person. So we hold on to the burden because that's all we have left. If we let it go, number one, that person's no longer in your life. So if we let that go, then we've got nothing left. And again, like she was saying, I'm holding on to this because I'm going to show them. You know, the injustice happened. They took something from us at that moment. So I'm going to show them. Like you said, the ego, excuse me, he wants to show them. Now, when they did those things, they left a wound. And in our perception, that wound was so big that it feels like it penetrated our soul. That is like an imprint, okay? And I get it. You know, they happened to us. We were hurt. I get it. Those wounds, they can overrun your mind. They can grow like weeds, okay? And they produce the feelings of revenge, resentment, bitterness, anger. And again, I get it. It hurt. At that moment, it sucked. It did. So if we hold on to it, because again, we're going to show them for as long as we can. But what are we really holding on to? When we say we're holding on to a burden, there's no physical thing that we're holding on to, right? Show me a burden. You can't. You can't go to your pocket. You can't go anywhere to pull it out. There's nothing really physical that you're holding on to. What you're holding on to is your story. The story. That's really all you're holding on to. And we keep saying it. And we go to the next person and we say it. And we go to the next person and we say it. And we say it in our minds. And we go over it in our minds. And we go over it in our minds. We go over it in our minds. We keep it alive. We keep that pain and that burden alive, right? Through our story. And like Jody said, it's a victim story. Because we keep saying, well, they took from me. They hurt me. They took advantage. They. Well, if it's they, then why not? Let's not look at them then. Let's look at their perspective then. Let's look at their side of the story then for a change. So looking at the other, what? No, I don't want to do that. So I don't think you're going to be able to do that quick. But The idea is that we want to get there, okay? So when I did that, for example, when I looked at that side of the story, at their side of the story, I did it from a place of openness, of willingness, with honesty, right? And with curiosity. I really wanted to learn. I was in a place where I really wanted to learn about me and also understand them. And I found a couple of things. When I did that, I found that they don't think they did anything wrong. In fact, some of them didn't even know they did anything to me. They didn't know. Here I am holding on to this in my head. They don't have no clue. I also found that they really didn't do anything to me. Not me personally. They were just doing what they thought was best for them so that they can feel safe. Because that's what happens in moments of uncertainty. When we feel like we're out of control, we feel like we have no safety. We have no ground to stand on, and we're looking for safety. So they just did whatever they thought was best for them so that they can feel safe. It was their go-to defense mechanism. Now, I also, when I did that, I found that they just didn't know any better. Because if it's their go-to defense mechanism, they don't even know about it. They're just doing, again, what they thought was best so that they can feel safe. And I gained perspective. When I did that, I gained perspective. It brought me to a place of understanding for the other person, for their journey. And when you can understand, you can get to a place of acceptance. When you can get to a place of acceptance, then forgiveness can begin. Now, once I got to that place of forgiveness, once forgiveness entered my mind, negativity began to lose its grip on me. It just started to fade away. It lessened. And then I was able to start moving forward with my life. Once I made the decision to forgive, I was able to let go of the resentment or start the process of letting go of the resentment, because it just doesn't happen like that. But I was able to start letting go of the resentment and any thoughts of revenge, of like, well, I'm not going to talk to you, right? When I started embracing forgiveness, I also started to embrace the feelings of hope and peace, like you were saying. I think you said inner peace, right? Having peace of mind too? Yeah, peace of mind. The feelings of peace and the feelings of love. Now, please know that forgiveness doesn't mean that you're condoning the actions of the other person, that you're excusing them, or that you're making them okay. By no means. Or you're not even saying that that person doesn't have any work to do. Because the truth is, for their journey, they may. But we're talking about your journey, my journey. So in terms of my work, that's really none of my business, bless you. That's really none of my business. And the truth is, in terms of my journey, forgiveness is for me. It's for me so that I can have peace. So that I can let go and free myself of that burden. So that I'm free to be who I really am. And that's a being of love. Okay? Because forgiveness is love in action. Okay? Forgiveness is love in action. Once you're there, then you can start to feel love for that person all over again. Whenever I have clients that tell me that they've had situations similar to that one, I ask them, well, did you forgive them? Yeah, I forgive them. And then I say, well, have you gotten to a place of gratitude? Have you gotten to a place of love for that person again? And they're like, what? I can never give thanks to that person. They hurt me. Well, then you really haven't forgiven. Because if you understand what it is, if you understand, again, everything is for you, nothing's against you, everything is happening for a reason, and they're helping you along your journey, then you haven't really forgiven. I can honestly say that the person that hurt me the most, I'm eternally grateful for them. I'm standing right here because of that person. Not totally because of that person, but they did something that kind of like was the catalyst for something bigger. There's always a bigger story, okay? And that's what I needed to go find out. I needed to go find out what the bigger story was. Now, the trick to it is to find the meaning and the purpose for the experience now. Don't clap. for the experience now, okay? Because we've all heard of hindsight 2020, right? And that hindsight is better than foresight. We've heard of that, yes? And that when you look back, you can connect the dots. They say that you can only connect the dots when you look back. Well, I say that if the dots connect when you look back, that means they're already connected when you look forward. The question is, can you trust that? Can you trust that this experience, which earlier we said is the only experience that you need at the moment for the evolution of your consciousness, it's an experience that is helping you. Can you trust that this dot is helping me get to my next dot? Can you trust that? When I ask people that, they say no. They cannot trust that. Because we can look back and you can say, oh, yeah, I know exactly all the dots that it took to get here when you look back. Looking forward, oof, it's so uncertain. It's scary. Because we don't know. But that's what trust is. When we talk about faith, that's what faith is. I've talked about faith before. If you look at faith in the dictionary or in Google and you get the little definition, it says complete trust, beyond doubt. It's a knowing that this is working out for my highest good, that I'm safe right here. No matter how difficult this is to accept, I'm safe. That it's helping me. All it takes is faith and trust and just a little bit of pixie dust. So it takes a little bit of magic too, you know? It does take a little bit of magic. So this is what we're gonna do. We're gonna do a little bit of magic now. So let me get my set of cards. I'm just kidding. We're not that kind of magic. So we're gonna do a guided visualization exercise. So go ahead and sit feet flat on the ground. Relax a little bit. You can close your eyes if you want. And take a couple of deep breaths in. Just slow, relaxing, deep breaths in. Settle yourself into this body, into this room. Into this space. Slow, deep breath in. Go all the way down to your belly. Now take notice of your surroundings, the sounds that you hear, and simply notice. Now bring your attention and your awareness into your body. And get a sense for how you're feeling right now. How does your body feel right now? If you feel a little bit of tension, just breathe into it. Readjust your body if you need to. Recenter yourself and go back to breathing and relaxing. Just being here. I want to invite you to think of something in your life for which you feel or have felt grateful for. It can be a person, a situation, a gift, a skill you have, a sense of being physically well, whatever that may be. Just notice what shows up. Something in your life for which you feel or have felt grateful for. Imagine it as vividly as possible. Appreciate it. What is it about that that gives you the sense of appreciation and gratitude? And what have you learned from that? How has that experience helped you or that person helped you in your life? Take a deep breath and breathe into that appreciation. Now think of something or somebody which you would like to avoid in your life. Could be a situation or a person. Something that you cannot accept, something that you have been resisting, or someone you're trying to avoid in your life. And again, imagine it as vividly as possible. Watch it closely and pay attention to any reactions, thoughts that arise. Just simply notice what emerges. Don't try to stop it. Just observe the resistance or the non acceptance. Is it thoughts? Can you feel it in your body somewhere? Continue to breathe. Slow, deep, relaxing breath. Relax. Now, suppose that life is guiding you by communicating with you through a code, a language made up of situations, events, and people that are coming into your life. What is the message contained in the situation or event that you have chosen that you're trying to avoid? How is this coming into your life to help you as well? To trying to teach you something, show you something about you that you weren't aware of. And let's return back to that situation or person you have chosen that you feel grateful for. Imagine it once more in your mind. Think of it with appreciation, acceptance. Be fully aware of that accepting attitude and grateful attitude that you feel towards it. Relax. Keep breathing. Now switch back again to that unpleasant situation, but bring with you the same accepting attitude, the same grateful attitude that you had for your other situation. Bring that with you to this situation. to the unpleasant one. And acknowledge that it's all temporary. This too shall pass, or has already passed. But also realize that the same universe, the same God which produced or brought you the pleasant situation is also producing and bringing to you the unpleasant one. And just like you're ready and willing to accept the pleasant situation, be ready and willing to accept the unpleasant one. It all comes from the same source for the same purpose, to help you, to teach you. Let's take a deep breath into that awareness. And now I ask you to bring back your attention to your body and see how you feel right now. How does your body feel right now? Bring your attention to the surroundings, the sounds that you hear in this room. And whenever you're ready, you can open your eyes. How are we doing? Good? Francesca's looking at me like, now! Yesterday I was talking to Sheldon, and we were talking about darkness and light, and you can bring that analogy to this situation. That thing that you're so willing to accept and feel grateful for, that's light, right? That's easy. Then we go to the other side, and that's the unpleasant situation, the uncomfortable situation, the thing that we're just trying to avoid, that's darkness. But it's all coming from the same source. We can learn something from light just like as much as we can learn something from darkness. And really, it's the darkness that we really have to put more focus on, because good is good. I mean, it's easy. Good, you don't have to try to make good be good. It's already good. You know what I mean? We have to turn the darkness and use it for good. But that's the stuff we avoid. Not realizing that, again, it's coming from the same source, coming to help you in some way, shape, or form. Okay? Doing all right? Yeah? Okay, thank you, guys. I really appreciate the time that we spent here today, and I hope that you find this helpful. Okay?